All right, folks, today is the day. Ripple proper party in New York City. I wish I could be there. I already have a massive amount of FOMO, but don't let that stop you from having a fantastic time in New York, absolutely turning up. In fact, for all of you guys that are in New York, it is your duty and obligation to turn up for all of us who couldn't make it. So please have yourself a fantastic time. Get all the pictures, the videos, and please share all the good times with us over there on Twitter. Now, with that being said, guys, this video, Bank of America needs XRP. How could this be? And is Bank of America the only bank with such problems that we're going to take a look at here today? Now, I am talking about Bank of America needing XRP in the context of them having such a bad balance sheet. Okay. Now, most people talk about, these banks, these institutions, these payment providers need XRP for the liquidity for cross-border payments. Sure, of course they do. It's fantastic. Best liquidity that the world has to offer. But you also have hundreds of billions of unrealized losses on the balance sheets of these banks in their bonds that they hold. And then you also have to plug in commercial real estate, all their business loans, all the other toxic loans, toxic derivatives that they have exposure to. It's not a pretty situation. And so from that perspective, with that context, I am suggesting that Bank of America does need XRP, not just for a competitive advantage, like was said after Ripple's Swell conference last year. They said that they were waiting until after the SEC lawsuit concluded to use XRP for a competitive advantage. We know they are going to do that. But I think that there's also a play here adding XRP to the balance sheet of these institutions as they ride up the wave of XRP increasing in price over the 5-10 years to come. So with that being said, guys, let's get right on into it. The market is back down for everything besides XRP. That's right. 26,800 for Bitcoin, 1665 for Ethereum, and XRP doing a little pre-party pump all the way up to nearly 55. Basically touching off of 55 cents, back down to 52.79. Okay, so a little pre-party pump as predicted. And as I put out a warning, remember guys, I did think that we're going to get a little pre-party pump, a little bit of action, but all the haters, they're going to be coming in, placing their short bets, and there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be trying to short this thing. And so watch out. I've been trying to warn folks about the pre-party, pre-game, proper party pump before we do have a sell-off, because when you look at the broader markets as a whole, it's not good. And so right now, this is the situation at hand, folks. Robert Kiyosaki says, did a podcast with Dr. Nomi Prinz. She's a Fed insider, author of Collusion, in her latest book, Permanent Distortion. Her message is simple: get money out of banks. She reports FDIC has over 725 banks on the watch list. Be wise, be smart, stay ahead of crashing banks. So to reiterate my point, it's not just Bank of America that has a terrible balance sheet. You have 725 banks that the FDC is on, have put on a watch list, right? This is not good, folks. Now, when we take a look at Bank of America in particular, this is what we're looking at right here, reporting from Wall Street on Parade. Bank of America's unrealized losses on hold to maturity securities. So that's what HTM stands for. Hold to maturity debt securities totals 106 billion. Okay. 34% of all such unrealized losses reported by 4,645 banks. Now, that is just shocking. Bank of America losses here equal 34%, over 1/3 of all such unrealized losses by 4,600 banks. Now, if you have a Bank of America account, this might be a little concerning, right? According to Bank of America's federal regulatory filing known as the call report for the quarter ending June 30th. Now, this is just the end of Q2. This could be a whole lot worse by now. It had 105.79 billion in unrealized losses on its held to maturity securities. That figure is not only far beyond the realm of what is peer banks reported, but it represents a stunning 34% of all unrealized losses on held to maturity securities reported by 4,600 FDI-insured commercial banks and saving institutions as of June 30th. Now, what are these? Held to maturity securities at the largest banks are made up predominantly of federal agency mortgage-backed securities. How do you think they're doing on their mortgage-backed securities as we're starting to see the real estate reset set in right now as well, right? $1.5 trillion of commercial real estate that has to be reset, has to get fresh debt at twice the interest rates coming up here in 2025. Not going to be good. So it's mortgage-backed securities and U.S. Treasury bills, notes, and bonds. The principal on these securities is federally guaranteed at maturity, but their market value is a function of the level of prevailing interest rates at a particular moment in time. So, i.e., all these bonds, a lot of these bonds were purchased after 2020 when the federal funds rate went to effectively near zero. And when you bought a bond, you were getting paid 0.5%, if that. Now, how stupid do you have to be to take on that deal, right? To buy a T-bill, a T-note, a bond, that's going to pay you out in 2 years, 10 years, and you're only going to be making 0.5%, 1% from the United States government? I think I'll pass on that one. But these banks loaded up, and apparently Bank of America went all in. And so now they have $105 billion of unrealized losses on the balance sheet on their mortgage-backed securities, their bonds, notes, and bills. Not good. But when you look at how do you fix this, right? Do you fix this with gold? Do you fix this with XRP? Those are the two, some of the two biggest assets that I've said would be added to the balance sheets, and you're seeing it with the central banks. And I think that you're going to see something similar with some commercial banks after they get the clarity to actually hold custody digital assets. For the time being, how do you get exposure? Well, now you're pulling up to the table with Ripple and you're trying to do some sort of options contract, some sort of pre-allocation contract to where you can get your claim on some XRP. And you're going to use this asset that's going to be rising here over the next 5 to 10 years to readjust your balance sheet. And if we do get some sort of crazy price action, really flip of the switch moment where XRP goes to somewhere crazy, you can fix that balance sheet relatively quickly, right? And so this is why I think that it's not just Bank of America. I think there's many other institutions, payment providers that have tried to do deals like R3, where R3 wanted 5 billion XRP. I think that you're going to see plenty of deals like that unveiled over the next year or two. Now, of course, we have the Ripple proper party here today. A lot of speculation. Are we going to get settlement announced? Are we going to get the first U.S. bank institution announced? I don't think that we get either of those announced at the party here today, but it's only a matter of time before the first U.S. institution comes in and says that, yes, we are going to be using XRP and we have put some on our balance sheet. Now, if you're wondering how far back these ties go, blockchain shy Bank of America quietly pilots Ripple technology. Now, this is old news, okay, but just to refresh you guys who are wondering, Bank of America didn't just partner up with Ripple. They were part of Ripple's global payment steering group since 2016, and we did a pilot with them. And this is, way back to 2016, right? And then if you look at, this is another old post, a recently closed ad on LinkedIn also suggested the bank has plans to use Ripple's distributed ledger-based payments network in some form. The post for a treasury product manager indicates the role, quote, leads the product management team for the Ripple project. So they had a special Ripple project at Bank of America. They were hiring for this position. They were on the steering group. And then remember this. After we get the historical ruling, this article was put out on July 17th. After that July 13th ruling from Judge Torres, that XRP in and of itself was not a security. After this, Ripple says U.S. banks will want to use XRP cryptocurrency after partial victory in SEC fight. And this wasn't just anybody. What was so interesting about this is this came from General Counsel Stuart Alderati. Ripple is confident U.S. banks will start wanting to use XRP for cross-border transactions after a judge gave the firm a partial victory in its fight against the SEC. So it is, been confirmed here by the chief lawyer of Ripple that we have institutions, they're going to be coming in to use XRP for cross-border payments. The part that I'm adding on is that they need to fix their balance sheet. Now, this other article came out, and this one was after the most recent Ripple Swell conference in 2022. And you guys can take a look at this one for yourselves. Bank of America waits on sideline until Ripple versus SEC case settles, CEO Brad Garlinghouse. Now, these rumors started to come out after Ripple Swell 2022 in London from Nick Burafato, Director of Member Sales at Link2. You remember this one, right? After he left Swell, he said that he had a conversation with Brad Garlinghouse. The Link2 employee asked if U.S. companies are waiting on the sidelines to get into the game once clarity is achieved by settling the SEC battle. Garlinghouse allegedly said absolutely, and specifically mentioned Bank of America. Bank of America is a huge partner of Ripple, Garlinghouse reportedly said. Now, let me just pause this. This is after it has been reported Bank of America got removed from the Ripple website. You can no longer find them as a partner on the website. But as of last year, right, Brad Garlinghouse is apparently saying that they were absolutely interested in XRP and that they were looking for XRP for a competitive advantage. Bank of America stands to gain really big when the settlement happens because they are going to have a huge competitive advantage over their competitors by using ODL and the marketplace. So once again, folks, the rumors of how involved Bank of America is going to be with Ripple and XRP have been going back for years. And the confirmation that they were on the steering group, that they were interested in XRP, running pilots, goes back all the way to 2016. But now we reach a max pain point where institutions like Bank of America have $105 billion of unrealized losses on their balance sheet. So it's not just the utility of cross-border payments. It's we need to fix our balance sheet. What do we do here? And so this is where we hear Ripple describe XRP as their strategic weapon. And when they pull up across the table from institutions like Bank of America, they get to pitch the idea of Bank of America using XRP as a strategic weapon, using it for a competitive advantage, allegedly in the words of Brad Garlinghouse, right? And so this is what we're waiting to see get announced as the first U.S. bank institution payment provider going live with XRP ODL, which, of course, Ripple's now changed their branding away from ODL to now just Ripple Payments. But that's what we're waiting to get announced, along with the first institution who's going to say, yes, we have added XRP to our balance sheet. So, folks, I think that for many in the crypto space, we make the point, we try to argue, oh, this is great tech. They're going to love this tech. This is going to help them out. Well, that's fantastic. But they also, and it's not just Bank of America. Like I said, there's hundreds of billions of unrealized losses on the balance sheets of all the commercial banks within the U.S. Okay. And then if you look at the central banks, even the central banks are taking historical losses as well. Okay. So you got to fix it some way. Whether they're going to ride gold up, whether you're going to ride XRP up, you got to find a way to fix this balance sheet, right? And I think that XRP is one of the best ways that they can do it. And in addition to that, not only do you get to fix your balance sheet, but you get the additional utility. This is why we've all stacked our XRP as well, right? So with that being said, guys, I'm going to be watching this proper party here closely. We're about to have an XRP pump pregame party live. That's going to be firing up here later today. So make sure you guys hit that notification bell so you don't miss when we go live. And if you guys appreciate all of our content, make sure we smash it on the way out. Drop a comment down below for me. Let me know, what are your expectations of the proper party? Are we going to keep on pumping? We're going to get the pump, then the dump? Are we going to get some special announcement? Let me know in the comments down below. And for all of you guys who are in New York, you need to turn up for me. Let's celebrate. God bless all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.